Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today, this class was inspired by the whole food plant-based medical doctor, and he's really loved in our community, Dr. Akil Taher. And he has a wonderful book out that you folks should get a hold of. It's called Open Heart. And it's about his journey of his own heart health. And he had open heart surgery, went whole food, plant-based, plant exclusive really, and he has since climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and runs in marathons, and the man is well into his 70s, so he definitely walks his talk. So he had invited me to do a little bit of speaking on one of his recent monthly webinars, which are really, really awesome, and I really suggest that you register for them. And the one that he asked me to speak on was about congestive heart failure, but a little more specifically, he asked me to speak about exercise and heart disease. So I did that, and then he asked me a question. Well, he actually presented a suggestion. And he said, have you thought about presenting a class for exercise in bed? So to be absolutely forthcoming with you, I went out and I bought an air bed because I thought, well, let's do this in bed, Angela, because you know what? I do a series of movements, nothing specific, but I do a lot of different movements in bed when I wake up in the morning before I get out of bed. So this one is called Move and Stretch before you get out of bed. And the only thing is it was just too noisy on that air mattress. So I'm here, but it's important that you know that the routine I'm presenting here today was designed on a mattress in bed, all right? So therefore, I don't care how firm your mattress is, it's gonna be different than the stability of a tile floor. So the mattress will provide a little bit of instability. Therefore, I just want you to understand the sequencing. It's done on a mattress. That means a lot is going to be supine, face up. Not all of it, but almost all. So keep that in mind for those of you with any issues. So the accessories we're using today, it's pretty simple. You're going to use your bed, hopefully, okay? But if not, I'm using a sticky yoga mat and just 2 pillows. That's it. And let's move right into the precautionary measures. So if you do have a latex allergy, you want to look for a yoga mat that is non-latex or latex free. I also want to include with the accessories, for those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo, have 1 or 2 folded hand towels close by. I don't want you to use a pillow, all right? Because this is for the movements on your back. The pillow will throw the cervical spine out of alignment for the work. So just use 1 or 2 hand towels for yourselves. Also, if you have been diagnosed with osteoporosis of the hip, you want to be careful of wide-legged stuff and wide hip stuff. And you may have been told, perfectly okay for you to do. That's great. I just need to be able to point this out to you in case you weren't. And also if you've had a hip replacement. So what you folks want to do is just kind of narrow it up a little bit and see how you feel with that. Also, if you have any back spine issues whatsoever, in particular, if you've been told not to forward flex the spine, not to bend down to pick up something, not to come forward like this. However, what I'm going to be doing here is not that, but I am going to be doing this. It's kind of like a reverse abdominal crunch. So you will be going into flexion to come flat onto your back. So you want to be careful of that, and also osteoporosis of the spine. If I didn't say that, you need to be careful with any forward flexion and postural deviations, like, in particular, hyperkyphosis, the one where we kind of hunched over. So all of these things are different chronic concerns. And as you know, this channel is all about working with people with chronic concerns and giving you alternatives and modifications. So I'm going to invite you to preview the video first if you have any chronic concern whatsoever, regardless of what I've listed here or not. And look for what you can do. But if you're not sure, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well, to then help you make an informed decision. So I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning, I might be kind of tight. I'm a side sleeper, but not only am I a side sleeper, I'm in the fetal position, which means that the knees are bent, they're flexed, and therefore those hamstring muscles, the back of the upper thighs, they're contracted the whole time. And in a fetal position, we tend to be like rolled up in a little bit of curled up into a bit of a ball. And so the back muscles are all overly stretched. So I'm not really looking forward to hold a static stretch for a long time, like especially like a hamstring or something. So what I'm going to emphasize here is a little bit of dynamic movement, dynamic stretches. So it's going to be moving through the stretch, and then at some point I might choose to do some static work because my body feels warmed up. So basically just trying to wake up the body in the morning. So I'm going to do most of the class here on a diagonal with you, and now I want to come on to the back. So medicated or not for hypertension, vertigo and GERD, get your towels please. So I'm going to bend the knees and show you 3 ways of coming down onto the backs. So we can first come down onto the elbows onto your back. Holding on to the back of the thighs, belly button in, chin to the chest. Here we go. We're going to roll back. So right back spine issues, those of you with flexion, not this, okay? Now, I just want to say one thing before we do the third approach. Just because I'm mentioning these issues doesn't mean it's going to bring on these concerns if you don't have them, okay? Now, we bring the legs out. If you feel like, hey, my back feels strong, I've got my butt flesh pulled back and out, the belly button is in, I can do this from a reverse crunch, arms out in front, feet are pointed down, plantar flexed, and just take your time as you slowly roll down onto the back. And once all the way down, now I'm going to bring the knees up into the chest. And I'm going to move here a little for you because I think we have, yeah, you can see me on camera. So we're going to pull the knees up into the chest. Now notice what I'm doing, particularly if you have knee issues. I have the hands behind the knees. We don't want to overly flex them, hyperflex, compress them. So I'm just giving them a little space. And this is called full wind pose in yoga. So definitely we're bringing some yoga movements in here. But as you can see, I'm gently rocking from side to side. It's really nice. It massages the lower back. I'm not trying to curl my hips off the floor. We want them down. And I'm just gently rocking, probably 5 to 10 times each side. And the breath here is done in and out through the nose. And now I'm going to hold here. Next, we come into happy baby pose. So I dorsiflex the feet, means soles of the feet facing the ceiling as if you're going to imprint the sole of the foot on the ceiling and taking a hold of the outside arches of the feet. If you need to use a yoga strap, you can use a yoga strap. Then I bend the elbows to the inside of the legs. I'm pressing the knees down to the outside of the ribs. And again, rocking from side to side. This feels great. Just take your time. You're not rushing through anything unless, you're late for work or something like that. Just a few more times to each side. Happy baby. I come back to center, and I'm just going to let the legs relax. So anatomically, when I say legs, it means from below the knees down to the ankles. Above the knees, up would be the thighs. So from here, what I'm going to do is what I call swim the knees. I don't know what else to call it. So I place the hands on top of the thigh, the top of the knees, pardon me, and I start making circles. And as I draw the arms away from the knees, I should say away from the torso, I'm forming a little bit of an arch in the low back, which actually feels great after a full night's sleep. So the knees are coming away from the torso, arms are fully extended, and then I'm going to reverse direction. Make sure you stay with the breath, swimming the knees. Now sometimes I see people do stuff like this, where they'll swim the knee and they'll like kick out. You don't need to do that. I'm really just moving from the hip joint. One more time around. And then gently set the feet on your mattress if you're in bed or on the floor. And then I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together. Slide my hips toward the heels, or you can bring your heels up toward your groin. Now, for hip replacement, osteoporosis of the hips, I'm going to suggest that you place your pillows underneath the outside of the thighs so that you bring your legs a little closer, your thighs a little closer together. Now what this is doing here is stretching out those hip adductor muscles, those inner thighs, but also what's going on is I have an arch in my lower back, so you can see my fingers. I think you can see the hand, and it's just showing you that there's an arch there. Sliding the hand out, it's an anterior pelvic tilt. Again, feels really good after a full night of being in a fetal position on my side. And to make this a little more dynamic, for some people it could be a bit too much, right? So you can narrow it up with your pillows. If you feel like tipping or rocking from side to side, again, 5 to 10 times on each side. It's kind of nice. And this is a form of goddess pose. The great thing about this is it is wonderful for digestion, and it relaxes the abdominal organs and intestines. Now I'm going to choose just to hold here for a moment, see what it feels like. So I have the arch taking place. Now, if it's too much, you don't like the arch, then again, use the pillows. You can get your lower back flatter, all right? Now, we're gonna place the hands to the outside of the thighs. Inhale, exhale. Slowly draw the knees in toward each other. I'm gonna grab a pillow now, and I'm gonna put the pillow just, my butt is on the floor. So it's underneath the bent knees, the butt is on the floor, and I'm going to come into that happy goddess pose again. Soles of the feet together, I'm supported. I have the stretch happening here at the adductor muscles. I even have a stretch now happening at the hip flexors, iliopsoas. And I could do a little tipping from side to side if I still want to keep it a little more dynamic. But do be mindful that now I have more of an arch in that low back. I like it. I welcome it. If you don't welcome it, don't do it this way. Holding here. A couple of more deep breaths. Now I'm going to take this one more step further into it, and I'm going to bring the hands to the outside of the thighs, draw the knees in, and I'm going to lift the butt and slide the pillow up so that my lower back and my hips are on the pillow. Now, when I go to do the goddess, this is a deeper stretch to the adductors, and it's a bigger arch in the low back. You have to see if it's appropriate for you, right? Now, I want to tie in some shoulder girdle work. So, take a hold of my elbows. I'm just looking to see which hand is on top. And I'm just going to do a rotation up and down. You can do it with a short range of motion if it's too much for you. So maybe you're here and you go here and back up. Well, okay, that's all right. 5 to 10 times. You can do one more like this. Now I'm going to change. I'm going to alternate the grip here. Opposite hand on top. And do it again. One more. Now, hands to the outside of the thighs, slowly draw the knees together. Extend those legs out. If you want, you could do one side at a time. So let's try that view. So with the outside leg, you can do this kind of thing where you're sliding in and out. If it's too much to hold steady, because for some people to hold it steady, which I will now, could be just too much of a stretch to the hip flexor, even to the quadricep. And then I'm going to do in and out for the inside leg. One more time, and then I'm going to hold. You can continue the movement if that's what you need. And now both legs. So nice stretch. Should say you have that nice arch in the lower back area. You might feel it a bit more in the hip flexors, into the quadriceps. I'm going to bring the arms up and overhead. I'm going to do a full body stretch here. Nice. I do have more of an arch in the back. And then I'm going to release, lower the arms down, bend the knees, place the feet on your mattress if you are on it. I hope you are. I'm going to lift the hips up. And then slowly lower down. And just move the pillow a bit. And I'm going to bring the knees back up into the chest. Oh, feels so good. And then just gently rock side to side. Full wind pose. Now, lower those legs down. Legs out in front. I want to play with a few variations of basic total body stretch. So, I'm going to work the outside thigh, leg, and arm first. So, I'm going to bring the arm up and stretch the leg away. Stretch, 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 and release. And again, stretch, release. A few more times. Stretch, release. Inhale. Exhale, one more. And now I'm going to hold, because I want to. You don't have to. So we get a nice stretch through the intercostal muscles between the ribs, even some of the oblique muscle at the waist. And relax it. And then I'm going to go inside arm and leg, stretching away, and release, elongating both ends away from each other. Again, now, if your body is ready to do static work when you wake up in the morning, go for it. I'm going to go for one more and hold. Oh, lovely.
Reach both ends away from each other. And relax it down. Now, this is the one that's a little challenging for me, so I'm going to show you how I do it. I want to go on a diagonal. So I'm going to bring the outside arm, stretch it up and back, but the inside leg stretched away. So now we're taking this, so we're going across the solar plexus, and I'm going to hold and then release. Now, I want to do them, the challenge for me is simultaneously doing it. And release, simultaneously. Okay, let's go for 2 more and then hold. Simultaneous. Good, this is good for you cognitively speaking. And hold here. Oh. And let it go. So first I'm going to go inside arm, outside leg, stretch, stretch, stretch. And release. So here we go, simultaneously. Stretching away. And release. I have to be careful because my inside leg wants to help. And stretch. You can palm down, palm up. It's your call. Stretch, reach. Good. 1 more and hold, if you want to. And hold there. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And let it go. And finally, let's take both ends away from each other. I'm going to create a steeple with my hands, which means interlocking all 10 fingers except the index fingers and the thumbs. I'm going to reach both ends away, point the toes away, the feet are plantar flexed. I'm reaching up and out behind me through the index fingers. You can even kind of walk both ends away from each other, kind of wiggling the movement. And hold, inhale, yes, exhale, go to snow angel, the arms out alongside of you. Let's pull the knees up into the chest. Let's swim the knees again, because swimming the knees puts me into that tiny little anterior and posterior pelvic tilt that I like to incorporate in the movement. And then we're going to go into that work, and you'll feel some abdominal work going on in a moment. So I'm going to set the feet down. So we're going to work on that anterior pelvic tilt. Just adjust my shirt and pants. Okay. So that's where we come from. Basically, you're in a flat back. And here's we have that arch. Nice big arch again, pulling the arm out. And then posterior pelvic tilt. I just allow the belly button to drop down. And I'm not curling so much so that I'm going to lift the hips. No, just pulling belly button in. And what naturally happens is that the transverse abdominis muscle, the deepest of the core below the belly button, disengages. So inhale, anterior pelvic tilt. Exhale, posterior pelvic tilt, just to a neutral position. Inhale. Pull the belly button in, take your time. Again, 5 to 10 times of each. Two more of each. Wow. And now from here, let's bring the knees up into the chest. And I'm going to come into the full wind with the rocking side to side. Now I'm going to start to make this a bit bigger, because really what this is kind of a twist, right? So for osteoporosis, you may have been told not to twist Again, just pay attention here. This is kind of twisty. This might be appropriate because it's a shorter range of motion, but now I'm going to build it up. So let's bring the arms straight out from the shoulders like a letter T formation, palms down. Now I'm going to drop the knees toward the outside and then toward the inside. Now, as I go to the outside, I turn the head to the inside. And this is excellent. Twisting is excellent to do in the morning because it's great for peristalsis, the act of voiding. Again, 5 to 10 times. I pull the belly button in when I lift up to center, and I'm going to hold right here. For some, you may need support underneath the outside thigh. Lifting the arm up and overhead, basically stretching hip and shoulder away from each other. And palms down, and let's come back to center and side to side again. I'm going to stop going to the opposite side with the head turned. Hold here. You can stay here if you want, or you can bring the arm up, which is what I really like to do. Trying to stretch hip and shoulder away from each other. And if you want, arm out then. Careful how hard you press down here, right? It could be too much. So you just want to encourage it over. This is now when we are stretching those lateral rotators and the gluteals. And palms down, back to center, hands on the knees, and I'm going to swim a bit. And I'm going to reverse direction, relax the legs and the feet, let them go. Anterior pelvic tilt into the posterior. Good. Now, I want you to set one foot on the floor and the opposite leg up. So we're working on the outside leg, arms out, palms down. Just doing some hip abduction, going away from the midline of the body, hip adduction, going toward the midline of the body. You can do it 5 to 10 times. And the opposite foot is really helping here to stabilize a bit. Just to kind of hold your place. Two more times. And I'm going to bring that knee into the chest. And then I'm going to extend it out in front because the hip flexors are involved there quite a bit. I'm just going to let that release into what I call a little windshield wiper. And let's take it opposite side. So now the inside leg. Take it up, arms out. And you know what? I'm going to move this for a second. Okay. There we go. And out. Hip abduction, hip adduction. abduction. It just feels nice to get the blood flow back into the joints, to get moving. And even if you didn't have a good night's sleep, if you just want to do a little bit of it, fine. I'm going to go for 2 more. And pull the knee in, gently extend it out, and let's windshield wiper in and out. Now something else you can do here would be just to lift and bend. Straighten the knees, bend the knees. Again, I'm not a big fan of holding hamstring work for a long time first thing in the morning, but it is a nice preparation for the movement should you choose to do it. I'm going to do 1 more and pull the knees back in. Again, rock side to side. Okay, now I'm going to set the inside leg down, foot on the floor, and you take the ankle of the outside across the thigh. The foot is dorsiflexed, and both hands come onto the inner thigh flesh, and I'm going to gently push away and release. Now when I press, shoulders down, don't let them hike up into your ear. Also, this movement, I would say, contraindication if you have osteoporosis of the hips or you had a hip replacement, unless you've been advised that yes, you can do this movement. Basically what this is a reclining, really modified pigeon pose. Also in fitness, we would call it a number 4 stretch. Again, reclining. I'm going for 2 more. 1 more. And I'm going to hold. You don't have to. Just make sure your ear is out of your shoulder. And now from here, I'm going to slide knee over knee into the chest. What is this? It's actually reclining Gomukhasana, cow face pose. I take a hold of the ankles, both feet dorsiflexed, plantar is pointed, dorsiflex like so. Pull the ankles away from each other, and you can rock to the side, because it can be a very deep stretch into the lateral rotators and glute. If you want a deeper stretch, you can take a hold of the heels and stay here. You can go side to side, keep it small, back and forth. I'm going to hold. Back to center. And now from here, this was the top one. I'm going to take it into Happy Baby. This one, I'm going to take it into, here we go. It's like a half reclining wide angle pose. Happy Baby on the outside, half reclining on the inside. So I push out through this heel, and I'm pressing down to the outside of the ribs with the opposite. And then bring the legs in. Set the outside foot down, inside ankle comes across. And gently push. I'm going to just move a little bit here for you. Okay. A couple more times. And I'm going to hold. Again, you don't have to hold it statically. And knee over knee into the chest, reclining cow face pose, Gomukhasana, pull the ankles away from each other. You can rock side to side or just to the one side because that goes deeper into the lateral rotator because you're moving into medial rotation. And I'm going to hold a little bit. And then we'll come back to center and take a hold of the heel. So you can vary it up in how you approach the work. One side might need more of a static hold versus the other. This one definitely does. I'm going to hold there. Breathe. And back to center. And now here we go. Happy baby on the inside, half of reclining wide angle on the outside. Pushing down, pushing out. Now from here, reclining wide angle. And then if you want, you can scissor the legs. Don't let the feet touch each other. Do not let them touch each other. So again, with osteoporosis, hip replacement, this might have to be much smaller movement. So it might be like this, right? I'm going to go for a couple more. Hold here, knees to chest. I'm going to come into another full body or total body stretch. Wiggling it, walking away from each other. All right, so now I'm going to roll over onto my side because I'm going to swing around. Now, you don't have to do this. You don't have to swing around because you're on your own mattress. Just come on to your belly. Okay, so I'm coming into what I call a Sphinx pose. So it's very easy to prop yourself up and then start to slouch into it. So when I kind of think about pushing the ground away, and I'm lining up my wrist, elbow, and shoulders, fingers stretched wide apart. Shoulders are back and down. Shoulder blade tips, I'm imagining them sliding down toward the back waist, lengthening the neck forward and up, broadening across at the shoulders, reaching back through the toes. Just to get a little bit more spine extension, back extension work. And then if you want, you can bring your arms slightly out in front, but be careful when you're on your mattress, you know, because you can slip and slide a little bit with this. I really love Sphinx for back bending. I find it's just a gentle approach to the work. You don't have to lift up like this. And then I'm going to lower back down. And folks, I'm going to pull my knees, I should say my hips back to my heels with the knees wide apart. I'm going to do child's pose, but if you have knee issues, then you want to come onto your back and take the full wind pose again.
You just want to be careful of the microphone here. You can turn your palms up if you like. And then slowly roll on up. And that's what we have for you today, folks. As I get myself together here on Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And if you find the channel has some value for you, I would really, really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. My next goal is 410 subscribers. We have 401 of you beauties, and I really appreciate your support. And please, folks, understand the reason why I ask this is because YT will release the videos to more people when there are more subscribers. And as you know, this channel is really dedicated to those with chronic concerns. So please feel free to share the videos with folks who might be just a little bit timid about exercise and stretching out. So until next time, eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water, and be well. Thank you.